What? These two? What on earth are you on about? What's this got to do with anything? They are Roottrees. They're your kids. Although there is, I guess there has always been this line around them. I don't remember why. I don't remember why. What are you saying? I've got to figure something else about these? Why? What? You haven't found this clue yet? What is this? Why? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why? Why is this a thing? Why are we going up here? I've had zero interest in these guys. Why are you sending me up here? It just feels random. The death of my mother was hard on our family. My brother and I, after spending time together, caring for her and mourning, have finally made amends. It was a highly transformative few weeks when it came to our relationship and recovery from my addiction. A major aspect of that process is that I wish to stay private. I read this already, right? The Roottree Rift, I would have done. Ron seemed way too eager and personally motivated. Yep. I remember this. Yeah, okay. This hasn't been updated. Why is this a thing that we're doing? This just feels so disconnected from everything else. Revisiting the diary, clock. Wait, what? Why is that taking me there? Oh gosh. Wait. It's taking me to the old evidence. What the heck? That's weird. How do I... Okay, wait. Show archived... Has that been a thing the whole time? Okay, sure, that's been a thing. That's also weird because all these other buttons just filtered down. Whereas that behaves completely differently and swaps out everything. That's confusing UI. Revisiting the diary. Gwen divorced Wild Bill just before she had a second. But Gwen's the blood relation. Oh my god, what's going on? Why am I doing any of this? I haven't thought about you for 2 months. She also announced she was pregnant again. Others mentioned that the rumor is Wild Bill had multiple affairs which left her heartbroken. Wild Bill and I have a child on the way, and we're sticking with Roottree for the last name, not Williams, but we also plan to lean into alliteration. That's how we'll honour both of our family names for the next generation. I mean, they're both alliterative. What the heck am I doing? This is giving me a really strong feeling of an feeling. This just feels out of the blue. I just wanted to wrap this stuff up, and then there's this up here. What? And it has a million things that apparently I haven't found. Robbie Roottree. Oh, that's the one we just read. What about the other one? Ronald Roottree? Ronald Roottree. Nothing. Ron Roottree. We already read that. This is old. Okay. Or maybe it still leads somewhere though. What was the name of the movie studio, whatever it was? Ron was announced president of... Yeah, we've read this already. It's also just everything was so long ago that, like, I don't know anything anymore. When? Peacefulness leaves 67. Wasn't Guys Like Us in the thing? Yeah. It's recently released for a first time on home video due to Roottree Mania. The time it took to manufacture and ship VHS copies of Guys Like Us meant that it missed the height of the craze. Like, why is it relevant that this is happening? Am I supposed to, like, follow up on some of these? Who's that? Leslie Florence was the other actress besides Gwyn Roottree in Guys Like Us. Before Guys Like Us, she was... are these, like, children from an affair or something? Even with the success and acclaim, she retired from Hollywood almost immediately after her co-starring role. Not much was known about her until recently when Guys Like Us was re-released right at the tail end of Roottree Mania. Recently, as part of the myriad of articles and research people have done into those surrounding the Rootrees, came out that she died of genetic disease known as Huntington's in the late 1960s. Okay, late 1960s. Okay, might line up with when those kids were born. But surely if she was pregnant and people would have known? Like, if she was pregnant with these two kids, then they're blood relations. Did she go into hiding? Harrison Lane. Do you have a new page? No. So it's interesting that this one is updated. And is that in the, like, evidence? Yes, I think I had that there already. So I guess we just follow everything from, like, here. Guys Like Us. Okay, let's look at you in other things. Hasn't been updated. Hasn't been updated. Hasn't been updated. However, there's like other movies here, right? What's the one we just read? Christmas Mission. Has this been updated? Yes. Originally only found mentions of Christmas Mission on the site about movies that flopped. During the height of Roottree Mania, it was announced Christmas Mission was slated to be released on VHS, but due to the mild reception that Guys Like Us received and due to the fact that Christmas Mission was a flop to begin with, the release was cancelled. Does that get added to the thing? No. Leslie Florence in other things? No. What was the Harrison Lane, was it? We could search for Wild Bill as well. Harrison Lane? Not updated. Wild Bill Williams. Not updated, but still there might be something. Due to multiple affairs, including one with another actress, an American reader on vacation in Paris claims to have overheard Wild Bill and Gwyn arguing in public while she was holding a baby and visibly pregnant. So she's pregnant? Not long after, Gwyn announced she was divorcing Wild Bill and also that she was pregnant again, giving this rumor more credibility. But maybe the first baby wasn't hers? This is updated. Is this... was this in... Oh, no, that's just been added, hasn't it? Okay, that's positive. Wild Bill Williams, an actor known for his role in Fortune Favours the Grave, did not make an appearance at Gwyn Roottree's funeral. Because of his absence, there were rumours online that he must have already died. But according to a reporter that tracked him down, he's in his 70s, still lives in Paris, and is still in perfectly fine health. He even went on record as saying, "I think it was Mark Twain who said, the rumours of my death have been greatly exaggerated. That seems appropriate today. The few years I spent with Gwyn were just one step along the very long and complicated journey that's been my life and career. The last time we spoke was when I signed the divorce papers. She asked me never to contact her or the kids again. I've always respected those wishes. They never reached out to me either, even as adults, so I have to assume that they had some idea of why she hated me so much and the sacrifices she made on my behalf. I wish them well, and I am sorry for their loss. But we've all been strangers for 40 years, so I can confidently say they wouldn't have wanted me to be there. In fact, I'm confident my presence would have ruined it." I'm gonna follow this, I guess. Nothing, okay. Still lives in Paris. Like got added, yay. Now what? What was your, like, is the name in here Wild Bill Williams? No. Walter Forsyth. Who is Walter Forsyth? Is that Wild Bill Williams? Different name? I don't remember anymore. Have I spelled that right? No, missing an E. Yeah, okay, it's you. Grew up in Paris, France. Let's search for Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe isn't famous enough to be on the internet. So it's weird that that shows up, considering it doesn't mention those words. Like, neither does this. Kind of odd. Yeah, okay, it's mentioned here. That's fine then. I mean, I have no reason to believe it's not her kids. Do these two have separate lists, or...? No, they seem to be the same. Robbie Roottree. Rob Roottree? Do you get different things? No. Robbie Roottree. Did I search that here? Probably, but I don't remember. Yeah, we read this already. Robert Roottree. It gives us that alternative name for a reason, right? No? remind me of this. Hold on, let me check. I really wish there were like things on screen to say like when something elsewhere is updating. So we currently have 4 things missing. So if I search for this, it hasn't been updated, so it'd be unlikely for that to have changed anything. If I close it and bring it back, does anything change? No. Okay, so it's not that, but still. So this was like, yeah, this was directed by Roottree. But so maybe something along here could lead to something? Any of these? Do you lead somewhere? Okay, there's new stuff here. It's just kind of random where there's new stuff. Comedian Penelope Tessa Green was part of a recent fundraiser at the Reno Comedy Club, The Laugh Lounge, about a month ago. The fundraiser was called The Best Medicine and was to help find a cure for Huntington's disease. Okay, well, okay. It's clearly connected to that other person that I don't remember who it was. It's like the actress in that other film that Gwyn was in. The fundraiser was called The Best Medicine. Up until recently, I didn't know anything about Huntington's. In the last few months, I've gone from knowing nothing about it to learning more than any one person should ever have to. Until less than a decade ago, it's impossible to predict if someone susceptible to Huntington's had the disease, but due to advances in medicine, tests have been developed. Hopefully this increased awareness is the first step in finding a cure. Please join me for a night of comedy for a good cause. That's one of the things. There's one of the things. What? Why? Let's look up you. This also has an older thing. Okay, that's not one of the things. Okay. What about you? Nothing new. Ron Roottree. So what's the connection there? There's the actress that's a Gwyn. Guys like us. Starred Gwyn Roottree, Leslie Flores, and Harrison Lane. Who's Harrison Lane again? Just an actor. Okay, but they start together, Gwyn and Leslie. Leslie died of Huntington's in the late 1960s. Did Gwyn like adopt that kid? I mean, the brothers look very much like brothers. I don't really have a strong reason to doubt that they're Roottrees. Okay. Showrunner was small screen director Ron Roottree. Troubles that came with raising 2 boys who were extremely competitive in sports, academics, and even romantic pursuit of their next door neighbor Roxy. Is it like meant to be about him and his brother in some way? Is there anything new in here about this? Yes. Team Blast did a very short piece. Wait, is it one of the things? No. Okay. TMS has gone through his fair share of hardships in the past year. We're all still reeling from the death of the Roottree sisters. Yeah, okay. Last year I lost my wife, and only a few months ago I found out someone close to me has a pretty serious disease. He asked me not to talk about it. Over the next 5-10 years, it will likely get worse. Oh, we did say it was genetic, didn't we? Someone pretty close to me. Oh. Ron has Huntington's and... Hold on. Do we get information if we search for Huntington's? Maybe we do. Like, sometimes I'm surprised. Like, something I don't do often is search things that are just, like, real-world things. Because I'm like, well, it's just mentioning the real-world thing. Leslie... What was your name? I know how to get to you. Leslie... Oh, yeah. Through that, and then through that. Leslie Florence. Oh. Yeah, does Ron Roottree, who's the director of the thing that TM, whatever TMS, was in, have Huntington's? Genetic disease. Huntington's. I bet that's one of the things. It totally is. It is. Okay, and it's genetic. Huntington's is a okay, I think I've got everything then. I know I don't have all the pages, but Huntington's is a neurodegenerative disease that most recognizably causes memory issues and uncontrollable movements in the limbs. After symptom onset, somewhere between age 30 and 50, those affected by Huntington's typically live another 15 to 18 years as their symptoms worsen. There is no cure. Huntington's is passed genetically from parent to child. The gene that causes Huntington's works in such a way that if a parent has the disease, there is a 50-50 chance that their child will get it. Okay. Curious that you're mentioning 50-50, but we know that Gwen was pregnant. Like that was stated. Huntington's cannot be passed on recessively, meaning it cannot skip a generation. In other words, someone has a mother or a father with Huntington's, but they themselves did not receive it from their parents. Their children will also never have it. Okay. Until the early 1990s, it was impossible to test for Huntington's. Instead, symptoms would usually appear later in life. This would often be after the person affected already had children. It would then be impossible to know if their children had it, as it was 50-50 chance. In 1993, due to determining which gene causes Huntington's, it did become possible to test children for it and know if the disease was passed on or not. For a variety of complex reasons, however, children are considered unable to consent to such a test and therefore very rarely tested unless they're showing early symptoms. Okay. Okay, hold on. So where was I? I was looking at this. Someone close to me. He asked me not to talk about it. All of the darkness has really put my own life into perspective. I almost threw it away. It has been the most important thing. And has Ron Roottree gone into, like, he's like disappeared or something? Not disappeared, but... he tried to get involved in the company. So, based on the genetics... But we know she was pregnant. That makes me think not. And is? I mean, I don't know. What's supposed to happen now? Is it supposed to start confirming stuff? Like, why was there just like a weird, like, pencil on paper sound? Oh. These last two are optional. You can summon Sam and Clark whenever you wish. However, this will end your search and reveal the truth. I guess. I don't know. Am I gonna get penalized for getting things wrong? Confirm? Okay. I don't remember who you are. Oh yeah. Wait, there's like another picture that I put in. Family tree complete. Weird little celebratory tune.
Beatrice and Courtney May. Clark, can you swing another test against Bonnie's DNA?
That was a weird saying of Beatrice. Weird way of saying Beatrice. What did I just... Whatever. You said Beatrice. Clark, can you swing another test against Bonnie's DNA?
This time I'll be sure to have them verify both samples in person.
1 week later, and they show up again. Hello.
Using the family tree you filled out, as well as DNA tests, we were able to uncover the truth behind all the inconsistencies. Clark's handling the business, but I've come to thank you and fill you in on everything we've learned.
Okay.
Buckle up, because it's been one heck of a week.
Yeah.
Actually, that's an understatement. It's not every week you discover your family company is being sabotaged by someone they trusted. But that's the kind of time we've been having. Like I said, buckle up. Maybe grab some popcorn.
Okay.
Let's start with Guy Hudson.
Here we go, folks.
Guy had a frankly ridiculous number of potential children. What shocked me is how many graduated from potential to confirmed.
Oh, they've got both of them there. Okay. I think I had all of these, except... Yeah, which way around were these? I don't remember.
We can even prove he was aware of them. The smoking gun was how he used company money to pay off a lot of women.
Sure.
He hid it with a method inspired by his idol, Elias. 5-piece flavors.
Okay, well, I
The
had
flavors he was
that.
paying to research were a ruse.
I had that idea.
He developed flavors based on the initials of the women he was paying,
What?
which was really stupid, considering one of their names started with X.
I mean... Sure.
Let's start with Christine. Guy was paying her under the name Caviar, but there were some other clues. James was born 9 months after Zach's party.
James was born 9 months after Zach's party. Oh, screw, like, calculating that kind of stuff. You can't expect me to do this. Okay. So with Christine, Guy was paying her under the name Caviar, but there were some other clues. James was born 9 months after Zach's party. Yes. Okay.
Christine was there with Guy, and when she got pregnant, she panicked. Steve stepped up. He even turned it into one of his recipe stories.
Yeah, but this felt like it meant that it was... the kids were from different dads.
Not all of Guy's affairs led to offspring.
That's weird.
He may
It didn't
have
really
slept
explain
with
that.
Robin Martin, but she didn't have children, so we'll never know.
Yeah, the plaited bread thing to me suggested that one of them was from Guy and one of them was not. Okay, well, I never went even down the Robin thing.
Also, not every child of Guy's affair partners were his. Robert Garland was born after his parents had already moved to Boston.
Oh, no, okay, so I was right. Okay. Why was he in the list? Okay, so I was right. Okay.
Skipping Beatrice for now. Up next is Lang Xin-yu. When Guy showed up in China, she was into America. And Americans.
Oh, I
Dare
see.
say
Butch
young
Cassidy.
heads.
Okay,
When she
okay.
got pregnant, her father paid key genes to fake IVF.
Yeah.
But her sister and Jerry had their own son, Mark.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay.
Sonia Alves was soon after. Nia was married at a very young age to a much older husband.
Okay.
She resented him. I don't blame her. They allegedly spent no time together in private. Guy was in Brazil during Christmas 1979. It's the
She doesn't look that much
oldest on the
younger, for
records.
sure. Okay, sure. That's not a
Bogdan
detail I
was born
noticed.
9 months later, and like the others, Guy started paying Sonia.
Hey, I got that one.
Last was Susan Ford, hired to translate for Guy's overseas trips. It's easy to read into Guy's donation to her school, but there's no definitive proof there. She and Guy were witnessed together near the end of his life. Susan's husband was convinced he couldn't be the father of her daughters. Guy, though, paid double. The price of twins.
Okay, I was supposed to read a lot more into these numbers than I guess it all hinges on you realizing that the letters were that's a bit of a stretch. Like, I get that it's a continuation of the thing from before, but like, we've had no hint that would be what's going on here. Yeah, just like it's a massive jump to be like, oh, he would start like also using the initials of the flavors to pay for to hide something, or to like Like he has no reason to like encode their name into the thing. Like it makes sense for the family and the kids, like because then it's like representing the kids in the thing. But like if he's trying to hide the fact that he's paying off these people, why would he name the flavors after? What? It doesn't make any sense. What they want me to do here is go, well, the names of the original flavors were initials, so therefore the new ones must be. But that's a leap. That's a massive leap. Sure, whatever. Okay, yep. Got that right too.
So, what about 5 pieces? Felix Fellow's mother, Joanna, doesn't have a 5 pieces flavor. On top of that, his story doesn't really add
Wait,
up.
but I thought this was proven with DNA tests.
His mother already left the company by the time Guy became president, and his lyrics indicate he was born sometime around 1975. Alone, that wouldn't necessarily prove it, but there are some suspicious connections between Felix and the company's current lawyer, Ruby Spratt. They both grew up in Portland in foster care, and according to the local paper, they definitely knew one another.
Yeah, I already got
Ruby
that.
was the one who approached the Roottrees to begin with. It was all a setup. Ruby and Felix saw my book's challenge to the Clancet Trust as an opportunity. His mother really had worked for Roottree, and Ruby was a respected lawyer.
Okay.
She exploited my family's greed, worked her way into control of the trust, and ensured Felix got a piece. But they made some mistakes along the way.
Family was notoriously unwilling to do anything that could risk their wealth.
If you look at the 2 DNA tests that Ruby handled, they were both supposedly tested against Bonnie Hudson.
Yeah, that's her original name, right? No?
But the 2 signatures that should both represent Bonnie don't match. After Clark and I confronted her, Ruby lawyered up. Ironic.
But don't we know that the one that... The one that... Wait, this... Well, this proved us the other... I can't even remember what the situation was now. This proved to us that... Because the one with Felix, with 5 Ps, was real, and it was the one with the one in the envelope that we did that wasn't a good comparison. Sorry. So it says Ruby had Donatico test Felix against his own mother's DNA. He had a hairbrush of hers. They sent the female sample in remotely. The only things he had to remember her by were a hairbrush she always used. This is all a bit of a stretch. Okay.
On the second test, Bonnie's sample was tested locally, but Courtney May's was not. Ruby's been throwing away samples. We think she sent her own hair instead of Courtney May's, but it could have been anyone's.
So both of them were faked.
Ruby and Felix were in cahoots. As for why, they were both advocates of wealth redistribution.
Yeah,
A
sure.
noble effort, but once they controlled the family fortune, they became just as greedy as the worst members of my family. The money corrupted them. They were so eager to personally wield the wealth for their own cause that they sabotaged any other claims.
So this is a no. Okay, got that one wrong.
That finally brings us
But
to another
I'm
one.
not surprised. That all felt like a stretch.
Her tales of Guy's parties and payoffs were true. She even approached Ruby before 5P. Ruby used Beatrice's truths to make Felix's lies feel real, then ruined the DNA test so that Beatrice looked phony in the public court of opinion.
Beatrice? Who says it like that?
Worse for her in all of this.
Okay.
While Ruby and Felix stole the show, there were some other potential new family members as well. Miracle Roottree was less of an open and shut case. That said,
It's very likely he had a son with Mary with Clementine. Yep.
Stewart. Mary Beth adopted him.
Okay.
So that leaves Mark, the timeline fits.
Yep.
He showed up about 9 months after Mary Beth.
Oh, I wasn't looking at
And
the
the
months.
baby story is a bit
Jeez.
too
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah,
If
indeed.
that's not enough on its own,
Yeah, okay, what's this?
he was also bailed out by the sister of Edith Roottree, Miracle
Oh.
Jr.'s wife, after she changed her name to win that silly contest.
He was also bailed out by the sister of Edith Roottree, Miracle Jr.'s wife. Okay, I guess that's sure.
Our best guess is that Mark was told by his mother whose son he was, and used that fact to put some pressure on Miracle Jr.
Okay.
We have no real proof of that, but nothing else really makes sense for why they'd be connected in that way.
Okay, at least got it right.
Elias's affair was the most ambiguous. Gwyneth was able to coerce Elias to do things he wouldn't have otherwise done, like pressure to include me in the family. My son even mentioned them arguing about someone named Beth.
It was
Combined
Bess.
with Gwyneth's lisp, it's possible the name was actually Bess.
Oh, I didn't realize Gwyneth had a lisp. Okay. I thought it was the kid that had the lisp, because kids often have a lisp when they're, like, learning to speak. So that's what I assumed was going on there. I guess it was Gwyneth's lisp.
Unfortunately, all we know about Bess Williams is that she wrote his book and died not long after, leaving her only son an orphan.
Yeah.
The timeline fits with Wildcat, but there's no record if she had any other relationship.
Oh.
Honestly, I wouldn't say we had enough evidence either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Elias cheated. Of course, I'm a bit biased. Regardless, we haven't gotten in touch with any of the Williams clan yet.
So is this just a
That
question
means
mark
we
one?
haven't been able to do a DNA test. As Clark mentioned, from here on out, all of our DNA tests will be in person for both parties.
Question mark? Okay. Interesting.
Lastly,
Okay.
a bit of a curve.
Yeah, this was a curveball.
Ron Roottree isn't related to us by blood. Gwyn was definitely pregnant, so it's likely Robbie is.
Okay.
When Ron and Robbie went to visit their mother at the end of her life, something changed. Additionally, there have been a few rumors circling around Ron. RR Productions canceled the Guys Like Us remake due to the director's illness.
Okay. I missed that bit, I guess. Guys Like Us remake was the thing you could search? Okay.
At the same time, Ron's wife Penelope began doing benefits for Huntington's disease, stating that she had become familiar with it.
Oh, that was his wife. Okay. The problem here is he's asking me for stuff I did literally 2 months ago. I don't remember any of that.
Huntington's is the same disease that Gwyn's former co-star Leslie Florence had. It's passed from parent to child.
Yeah, I still got the
Because
most important
Gwyn
stuff
and
here.
Wild Bill didn't have Huntington's, and Ron seems to. It's impossible Gwyn was his mother. I recently confirmed all this with Ron. At the end of her life, Gwyn told Ron the story. Leslie and Bill had an affair the same year Leslie learned she had Huntington's. Leslie got pregnant. Leslie wasn't likely to survive to see her child grow up. And even if she did, she didn't want to be a burden. She begged Gwyn and Wild Bill to adopt her child. Gwyn did. Mere weeks after she found out she was having her own son, she also took in Ron. Wild Bill was a problem. Unreliable and a serial adulterer. Gwyn divorced him and never saw him again. Gwyn had already told Starlet she was pregnant, so it never really made waves when people saw her with a child in Paris. There was gossip during her divorce when she was discovered to be pregnant again. In actuality, it was the final months of her only pregnancy. To lay low, she stayed in Paris long enough that even her own family never had reason to question the timeline.
She even told us she might come home next year so we can meet her kids.
It's one heck of a story, and frankly, nobody could be expected to piece the timeline together.
Yes, why are you asking us to?
Not with what few mentions of Gwyn's past have survived. But the Huntingtons itself? That's proof.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Ron suing Robbie to remove him from the Clancet Trust was a huge moment in my story, and a major catalyst for this entire investigation. Finding out that it's been pretty much backwards this whole time has been a bit surreal. So that's where we're at. Looking over the information you sent us was very helpful. We pretty much came to most of the same conclusions. But
I got
it
one
took us
wrong?
an entire
Yeah,
team of lawyers.
5 P's.
All this information,
I think. I guess there's a question mark as well. But
in more ways than one. Some of it has the potential to destroy marriages and ruin relationships. We're handling it all very, very carefully. But we couldn't have gotten here without you. And with that, I guess our tale has finally, truly...
holy moly.
What a strange one it was.
Goodbye, Sam.
No words
Go away.
can express how grateful I am to you
Go away.
for tangling this mess. Honestly,
Can I just close the
I've
door?
had enough of my family's eccentricities and scandals for one lifetime. I imagine you have as well. And if not, well, there's always Elias's and Gwyneth's brothers and sisters.
Maybe in a while. Game design Robin Ward, based on the original game by Jeremy Johnston. Huh. So somebody else did Roottree Mania? Huh. Curious.
Ancestors gave you, acting like you somehow deserve it based on your family's creations. But looky here, sonny, don't you come for our money, or you might burn bright in hellfire someday, like that Madsen chick and her two dads. My pappy's Clancet Trust should keep you away.
TV anchor was Jeremy Johnston.
From a geezer who's never known hurt.
Ivy Dupla says Beatrice.
When all of your worth it came free with your name, you expect me to treat your lectures on greed as some expert creed from
I was about to say this is probably going to be a kind of playtested list where I don't recognize people, but no, Andrew Plotkin.
just with an aim.
You say money is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. So once more with passion, tell this poor tragic orphan how your mansions and Porsches are actually horrible. How I'm better off penniless, grasping for morsels. How wanting my share, that's actually extortion. With your candy ass name, synonymous with sweet.
Detailed credits for each song, interesting.
From Portland, but I play that game. I came up on the streets. The only streets you reppin' are Park Place and Boardwalk. Hypocrisy.
Lucas Pope.
Monopoly is toppling. When I knock, have G's. Top off my pockets, please. Cause the same God that got to steal my mom from me is what he wants, right? For you to live in poverty. And if you're suddenly not eager to unhand that fortune, that's unfortunate. I guess I'm gonna have to take my portion, and I'll do it all legally. Class action, courtrooms, decorum. I'm way past your fancy ass dormant.
You say money is a root
So this is for the
of all your problems.
the original itch.io version.
Problems away. You say money is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Sure it is.
You say money is a root of all your problems. Let me take those problems away.
Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars the root of all evil, just trying to make small pursuits of real people. You silver spoon feeds you the world's purest treacle, while real world folks burning spoons for the needle. Whoever calls dollars.
It's interesting that the song has like a knock 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 sound in it, like when they knock on the door to open it. Is that, do I click? Or is it, oh, I guess we just stay here? All right. Wait, can I like, nope, I can't. Oh, I can, there we go. I can escape out of it. Gosh, I'm tired. Okay, now I have to try and give my thoughts about the entire game. The entire game, because I didn't give thoughts on the first bit, I don't think. Did I? I can't remember. Okay. Okay, so I thought it was a really cool game, but I also have like lots of like it's the kind of game that makes me go, oh, I want to like this is the beginning of like there's going to be a game that follows up from this that's like of a similar format, but like nails all the things that I found a bit frustrating and all that kind of stuff. Like great in concepts. Like having to put together the family tree. I really liked that the story wasn't like Return of the Obra Dinn and Case of the Golden Idol all have like kind of mystical magic things going on. No, here it's just like, no, it's a wealthy family and it's pretty like normal stuff. Like it's not, yeah. Like obviously there's quite a lot of drama going on in this family, but there's quite a lot of people. You get drama in families and that kind of stuff happens. Yeah, like even in like my family, there's like relatives that we didn't know growing up because they were given up for adoption and then they appeared later in our life, and like not my immediate family, but just outside of my immediate family. So that, you know, things like that happen. Yeah, like where nobody knows about this person and they suddenly show up, and like you like learn about some history of your family that you didn't know about, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I kind of liked that it was grounded and never like went to other places. Yeah, so my main frustrations. I'm gonna just like make the big points. Well, okay, we'll make it's not a small point, it's a big point as well. Okay, the first point I'm going to make is UI problems. Gosh, that UI was frustrating. Like, especially the history and like going back and forth between the pages. Okay, so that's part of it. I don't need to go into any more detail on that. I complained enough about it as it was happening. But that got worse the deeper into things I was and the more like sprawling the connections were. And that's kind of obvious that would be true because suddenly I'm going back and forth between pages a lot more and trying to find things that I was looking at ages ago. Basically what I feel like is that the UI was compatible with the like basics of like following a trail, but not compatible with what I was effectively having to do for the last like 5 hours of this, or however long it was, which is like a lot of like going back and forth and searching along different paths to see like where I'm missing things. Okay, this leads me to my next big thing. This is like probably the biggest problem. And it's kind of a fundamental thing. Well, it's not fundamental. I think there's things that can be done. But like the very concept of like it being like I'm just searching the internet to like find stuff inherently means that there's going to be stuff that I have to search that is just kind of a bit random. And like, oh, if I search for I searched for like Clark and got a picture of that Susie lady, like what? And this is like kind of the same problem as the feeling of like just having no idea where to go from anything. Like basically the fundamental problem is that there's no like it's not like a puzzle in another game where there's like, I mean it is like, okay, it is like this in most cases, but like in most puzzle games, like you're leaving like threads for somebody to pull on, and it's like it's not hand holding, but it's like signposting. It's like using the level geometry to communicate something, whatever, right? In this, that is there to some degree, but it really, but first of all, there are some things that aren't like that, where it's like, it just felt kind of random that I had to search for this thing and it led to a piece of information that's connected to something else. And then when you know there's those random connections, but even if you don't know there's those random connections, you're left with a situation towards the end when you're trying to get those last few pictures together where you're just, it's just pixel hunting, but on like a horrendous scale. It's just horrible. It's just like mindless, okay, I'll search through everything and like search everything. And you could say it's not entirely mindless because like within those things that I was going back to, I did eventually find a term that I hadn't searched and I need to search for it. But that's such a tedious process. That's so tedious. I think, so the game obviously tried to do some stuff to deal with this, like the, what's it called? The initiative? No, not initiative. The, whatever it was called. The way of telling what the evidence led to more clues. That was good. Why isn't that on the like pages on the computer? Like, why doesn't everything in the game? Like, why is evidence the only thing that has that? Intuition was what it's called. Like there could be something. It doesn't even necessarily have to be that exactly, because that does feel a little bit like magical in some ways. Like there's not really an explanation for it, but there's probably something that could be done so that you always know where the surface area is that you need to be bashing your head against, right? Instead of the entire game being that surface area. There could be something. And then I mentioned it before, but it'd be amazing if you could like actually see the connections between the information in the same way as like Outer Wilds or whatever, where it's like a graph of nodes connected to each other telling you what led to what. That would be amazing. And then you could use that graph to indicate like, oh, this is where there's the most like potential for further exploration. And maybe there's a way of doing that doesn't feel like it's just like hand-holding. I don't know. Like it's interesting, right? That there is a hint system in the game. I could have used that hint system, but the fact that it's a hint system, I think it just kind of inherently means that it's like, it's not designed, it's designed to almost be like a fourth wall breaking thing of like, oh yeah, okay, you're stuck. We're going to help you get past this bit by giving you this bit of information you didn't get any other way. Whereas like what you really want to do to keep people moving forward in the game is make sure they've always got that thread to pull on, like a kind of a hint. Like those threads are kind of like hints. They're just not like yeah, fourth wall breaking. They're hints that you uncover by exploring and seeing what you can find. And what would be best if like that was happening all the time, you were constantly finding these threads. And sometimes that means like having many threads that all point in the same direction or whatever, so that even if you, I mean, okay, that is a big thing I would make different, is that it's never like reliant on you finding this like one route down a path, because then you do have to go and bash your head against it, the entire surface area of the game, so you find that one route to go down. But if there were like 4 different ways to get to everything, suddenly the surface area is like 25%. So that's like one way to do it, but I also think the graph would help a lot. The graph idea would help a lot, and having some indication of like that intuition type of thing, but not just on the evidence. Yeah. So basically, I guess like, yeah, I enjoyed the game, but it was quite frustrating at times. So my feelings are a little bit mixed in some ways, which I feel bad about saying, because I did like really enjoy like a lot of it. Yeah, there's just like some aspects of like the execution that I guess I just want to see it like iterated on and see what the next version looks like. The music is very loud in this game. I guess it's like, in fact I can see what's going on is the, like, almost certainly the volume control will be at max. Yep. And not only is it at max, but the audio itself, and I can see this because I can see in OBS, when it's at its loudest, it is hitting 0 decibels, which is like the maximum that you can store in an audio file. So, and that's typical. Like, you would normally mix audio so that it's maxing out the full range of the audio, because then you get the highest fidelity. But that needs to be accounted for. I don't know why I'm now complaining about this. It's just a classic problem in games, is that, yes, the audio is mixed for like maximum fidelity, but then the game doesn't like adjust for that in some way. I mean, it does. I could have turned this down. But I never did. I just turned down my desktop volume. But it did make it look... I guess the other thing is that there's like... the max volume of like different tracks is quite different. So it was quite hard to mix in my videos, and I do realize there are some videos where the music is really loud and you couldn't hear me very well. Sorry, I sort of picked how I was going to mix it like early on based on some tracks that I heard at the time, and I guess that was wrong for certain other tracks. Anyway, that's a random aside. Yeah, the ending of these things is just a bit... like, that's the other thing, is I'm never sure, because I often complain about like the ending of it, and that's true in like Return of the Obra Dinn as well. Definitely the end of Return of the Obra Dinn was really hard. GoldenEye didn't have that problem because of the way it segmented the game, and it makes me wonder, like, does it make more sense to like kind of go into a different mode somehow towards the end, where things are a bit different? Like, the game almost does the opposite of what it should do, which is that what it does is it says, oh no, now you need to get 5 people in order to confirm anything. It's like, maybe you should be doing the opposite. Like, I understand the reason that designers would have done that. They would have been like, well, it's the end, it needs to get harder, right? But it's already harder by virtue of the fact that you're scraping for the last few little bits of information, and so maybe bringing the number that you need to confirm down is a better idea. But that's not the only thing for that. It's just, yeah, the end of this was like, like really, but again, I think there's things that can be done. Like, all this is like makes me think about game design and like why things are the way they are, and like how it could be a different way, all that kind of stuff. So I do wonder about what an ending, because the problem is that like the ending for any player can be a completely different area of the tree, because it's completely non-linear. You can go down any part of the tree and solve any bit of it. Obviously, I guess there is a separate ending section, which is like once the envelope opens, but that is different. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the end of like the completely open, go and figure out any part of the tree that you want bit of the game. Once you get to the end of that, it becomes like, yeah, pixel hunting. I'm kind of curious, like, is there a solution to that isn't switching to a different mode, or like changing things? Is there a solution to that is, again, more subtle, kind of providing threads in such a way? Like, I guess you could imagine a thing where, like, this would be really complicated to develop, but like, depending on which bits are remaining towards the end, like Sam shows up with like different bits of evidence that provide those extra threads to help you with those things. That would be pretty cool. Maybe that wouldn't be that hard to... It'd be very similar to the duck system, right? In the duck, you ask the duck and it gives you some hints. But it would be like in game of like Sam being like, oh, like here's some information about like the remaining people that we found. We thought we'd like try and help you find something, and so yeah, like, and they give you an extra thread. That could be interesting. I don't know. Anyway, cool. Wow, I'm really tired. Kind of like exhausted partially from the game and how hard it was to do the last stuff. Yeah, there was the weird thing to do with like saying whether something was proof or not at the end. Like, this is definitely true. It's like, well, I'm not sure I ever feel like it's definitely true, even with the like the Huntington's thing. Like, I could totally imagine there's an alternative explanation there that could make sense. Like, what if it was like, okay, like, what if Wild Bill Williams had also had an affair with another person who also had Huntington's? I know it's low chances, but it's certainly not 100% proof like the thing is suggesting. I mean, that's still okay. Hold on. I guess what we're trying to prove is that it is or is not Gwyn's. What if Gwyn had also secretly had an affair and there's no record of it with somebody who had Huntington's? Just saying. Proof is difficult, very difficult to achieve. That's why like courts, like legal stuff isn't really done on proof. It's like done on, I mean, it is. It's like there's evidence, and then it's like just beyond reasonable doubt that, you know, this person did this thing or whatever. And this, anytime you think about that system, it makes you realize how kind of scary it is. It's like we've come up with a system to kind of determine what truth is, and there's probably like records of truth that aren't true because like evidence can never be like perfect, and there's always reasons why like a jury might be wrong about the, yeah, I don't know. Let's not get into the philosophy of like law and truth. Anyway, that was the Roottrees Are Dead, Roottree Mania. Oh, I guess people would be interested to know which one I preferred. Okay, I way preferred the format of Roottree Mania, in that we're picking the names from a list that we have to search through, and it's got loads of extra names in it. Way preferred that. I've said it before, I'd still love to see a version of this game where we're actually piecing together the tree as a whole, like putting the strings between the things and deciding where the images are going and all that stuff. I think that would be my favorite version of this. Obviously that'd make it even harder, but then you'd account for that in other ways. I prefer the story of the first one, of the main game, Roottrees Are Dead. It felt more connected and more grounded, like, I don't know, like just more, it's like about that family and their relationships to one another. I wasn't that attached to the stories in Roottree Mania. And I think, even though I was frustrated at the end of both of them, I think the Roottree Mania's like conclusions had way more like logical leaps in them, or at least they required like connecting things across months worth of playing the game, which is, in my opinion, too far. I would say, like, maybe for like ultra secret stuff that isn't like just finishing the game, you could do that kind of thing, but it felt a bit like too much of a stretch. Yeah, I didn't love all the conclusions in this one, whereas I felt like everything really wrapped up nicely in the first one in a cleaner way. How many times have we listened to this track now? Quite a few. Anyway, so I think I would say, oh gosh, I think overall I have more positive feelings about the base game, even though I like the format more of Roottree Mania. Yeah, again, another thing that's just made me go, okay, I want to see the next version of this. That's like the format of Roottree Mania, the kind of like narrative of the first game, and then has all these like things ironed out to like deal with the problem at the end of the game and how difficult it gets and all the pixel hunting. Okay, and one thing I want to quickly mention with regards to the pixel hunting thing is that I know people will be like, but like, that's what it would be like if you were like, you know, trying to research this family. You just have to search random things until like you find the right thing. I think that's never a good argument in video game design of like, oh, if this were real, it would be like, that's not how this should work. You're designing a game. It's not meant to be like, you're trying to design something like fun and interesting and perplexing and whatever what you want it to be, but not like, yeah, like going for like realism is never the, I don't think ever should really be the argument for why something is designed a certain way. Maybe that's a strong statement, but I'm not sure. Whatever. Oh yeah, and this is also the series where I had some slight frustrations with comments earlier on. Yeah, that was the thing. I guess it's like with any series that, because this series has been fairly popular on the channel, brings a lot of new people to watch it. They don't necessarily get how I prefer my comments to be. And I think there were also just miscommunications, but also like people not quite understanding how they would come across. Yeah. I also found that the thing that was like most frustrating there was that, like, I think something that's like, this is probably not that clear if you're not somebody who like does playthroughs or whatever, but it's really odd to be like, I like record myself and I like talk through everything that I'm doing. At least I try to. And there's probably millions of things that happen in my head that don't get said out loud, and so not everything gets conveyed. But like, you record all this stuff and then you put it online, and then when people like misrepresent like what you understand and what you know, or like whether it's reasonable that you could have made this mistake, when you're like, well, I did make this mistake because of all the stuff that you've just seen. Like, I don't know. But then I guess I'm not saying it's like not okay to criticize a mistake that I've made. That is totally fine. I guess it's when it's expressed in a way that's like, how is that possible? Well, what do you mean? Did you not make any mistakes when you were playing the game? I don't understand. And not only do I not understand how you could imply that it's like, it's crazy that I could have made that mistake, but like, you can see the mistake in action. And sure, like, mistakes happen because of like subtle things that are like, oh, this word didn't quite stick in my head or whatever. But I don't know, like, it's there. Like, you've literally got the evidence in front of you of why things happened the way they did. I think what it is that people don't necessarily like, I guess it's like a kind of like putting yourself in somebody else's shoes type of thing. It's like, I can understand it because I've, you know, felt the same way watching other people's stuff. It's like, what you've got to do is try and imagine like to be able to accept the mistakes somebody else is making or the frustrations they're having or whatever. You've got to be able to like think about the fact that they are, you know, their own individual and having their own thought processes, and maybe they're distracted in a way that you don't know, or like, I don't know, it could be anything. Yeah, I get that it can be hard to do that, but yeah, I think it would lead to less like me getting frustrated with comments sometimes if people, I don't know, just kind of thought like, that's fine, like that's normal. It's somebody playing a game, so somebody playing a hard puzzle game, there's going to be like mistakes or like overlooking something or anything like that. Anyway, okay, I'll spare you from more repeats of this track. Is this it repeating? No. Okay, it's in the middle. All right, cool. That was the Roottrees Are Dead and Roottree Mania. Holy moly. I think I have some ideas for what I'm playing next, but I'll leave it as a surprise, as always. So see you then, folks. Alrighty, goodbye.